How's it going, everyone? My name's Sam. I am a 25-year-old YouTuber, and I'm going to tell you what I spend in a month. Now, this is something that I've been meaning to do for a while, but honestly, we moved into this house a couple months ago, and I haven't really want to look at my bills. I know that I could cover them, but I haven't really want to look at them because there's so many one-off expenses that are very expensive. So I haven't wanted to look at it. I used to track every single penny. Now I know that I can cover it. I'm not too worried about it. But today we are going to go through every single expense for the last month. Now I will say there's still some things that are one-off expenses, but I will show you how much I spent overall in my business, in my personal. We won't go through every single line, but I will show you the chart too on how much I spent. Now, I will say I'm not being interviewed by CNBC or anything like that. So this is not going to be as pretty. There's not going to be B-roll and all that kind of stuff, but we're going to go through my expenses. For reference, when you look at this budget, know that I'm making around $40,000 to $50,000 a month. Over the last 7 or 8 months since I went full time on YouTube, I've made about $600,000, give or take, maybe $50,000 or so. I haven't really tallied it up over the last couple months, but somewhere around $600,000. Now at my old job, it was $40,000. So things change, but we are going to look at this here today. Now, if you guys don't mind hitting the like button, I really appreciate that. I recently did a video on my crypto portfolio and really trying to show everything that I have, just throwing it out there. And I hope you guys appreciate the transparency because investing is one thing, but saving is another. Now, one way that I do save money, I made a video on 3 different ways to save money actually. So I'll link that on the end screen, but let's take a look right now at some of these expenses. Now, first off the bat, I should say I've been using my BlockFi credit card for nearly everything because they pay so much back. It's been really helpful. So that's one way that I've been saving a lot of money, about 3.5% coming back in Bitcoin. Now, I think the easiest thing to do is go through the business expenses first. I have $1 a month for a subscription for stock investing. Then I have someone that helps me with consulting on my channel, and I pay them about $858. It depends on where the Patreon size is at because they help with the Patreon. So $858 there. I spent about $1,000, about $1,100 to $1,200 actually, on the FinCon conference that's coming up here. So I bought my Airbnb, and then I also paid for a plane ticket round trip. So that was about $1,100. This is a very expensive month for me for the business. It usually doesn't cost really anything. Internet is something that I can write off because I do all my work on the internet, $90 a month. Health insurance, unfortunately, I don't have that cushy job that I used to have where I pay $20 or $30 a pay period. Now it's $240, which still isn't bad. But as an entrepreneur, I do have to pay that myself. Then I have dental and vision, which is about $12, $13 a month. I have a course on how to make money on YouTube, and I pay a monthly fee to have that up. So I got paid a decent amount, a couple $1,000s from the people that originally took it, and then I pay $119 a month. Honestly, not the biggest money maker by any means because it actually drains down if people aren't actually checking out the course. I barely talk about it now, but I have had a couple people that now have hit 1,000 subscribers that have taken the course. So then I bought a new computer. Actually, the thing that I'm recording from is by far the most expensive computer that I've ever bought by a factor of 2. Actually, probably a little bit more than that. I bought a very nice computer and put it on my BlockFi credit card to get 3.5% back in Bitcoin. So happy to do that. Was also a nice business expense for a little bit of a tax write-off. Then I have a rug that I bought for the studio. There's a really bad echo, so I spent $147 on the rug, and then $144 on a painting for the studio, kind of some artwork there to make the aesthetic a little bit better. So overall, I spent about $5,200, by far the most expensive month I've ever had, but there's only about $1,300 that are reoccurring expenses, and some of that too is gonna change because this number here, the consulting can move around, but some of it is just stuff that I can't get rid of, like health insurance and dental insurance. So I am not too worried about $5,200 for this month. Usually it's only about $1,300 or so, and a lot of that's for the business. They are tax write-offs, so that isn't too bad in my opinion. Now, I should say too, my fiance and I live together. These are just my expenses, and I just told you about my income earlier. We live together. We own the house, or I own the house completely, all cash. So I don't have a mortgage, which is really nice. We own our cars fully, which is nice. We actually couldn't get a loan because I started full-time on YouTube. So I would like a mortgage, but I don't have one. I'd rather have the money to invest. But that kind of draws down how much we spend on a monthly basis. The other thing is we've been eating out a lot. You'll look through here and see Starbucks, dinner out, fast food, dinner out. And I didn't put dates on here, but this is all 1 month. And we ate dinner out probably 10 times maybe. And we're still getting used to this. We have a lot of friends that we go out with and a lot of family members. So overall, this is more expensive than we would typically spend in a month. And I will say we had a lot of one-off expenses like summer property taxes. We also had stuff that we had to get for the house. There's a lot that we had to pay for that are not reoccurring expenses by any means. But like I said, I didn't include my fiance's items on here either. She pays for her own stuff. I pay for anything where it's the two of us, like any kind of dinner out or groceries, or I even pay for her car insurance. But she spends on the stuff that she wants, like different fun things. So we won't include that here because I'm not looking through all that. So let's take a look. Total, spent about $7,500 this month. Most expensive month I've ever spent money on, but also summer property taxes were in here. So if we take those out and we account for just 1 month of property taxes, so we divide this by 12, I realized that these are just summer property taxes, but I looked and the winter property taxes are like $200 or something like that. So I'm not worried about the winter property taxes. So we divide this by 12 and take out the rest. It's about $3,600 in the month. So that was including a lot of one-time expenses or things that just were high. Like we just got our dog, $160 for a vet bill. We also have a couple other things like I talked about that were one-off expenses like Petco. We're not going to go to Petco and spend $300 a month. We're also not going to get stuff for the yard every single month. Subtract some of those non-reoccurring expenses like the ones I just talked about. We're under $3,000 a month. 30% is going towards food. A pretty significant amount is food, but we ate out a lot. Again, we usually don't eat out this month, but we've never lived together and lived on our own, and it is summer, so we're seeing a lot of people a lot of the time. So we did spend a lot of money on food. There's some restaurants that we do not want to go back to. They were too expensive and not good enough. So there's that. We also have the other label, like all those random things for the house that we just don't need to be reoccurring. Then over here we have property taxes, 9%. We have health insurance, which is 6%, 5% going to utilities, 8% to student loans, and then 6% is going to car and home insurance, and then subscriptions, which is about 0%. Now, overall, this is not including my normal investing and stuff like that. Like I said, we're probably around $3,000 or $4,000 a month, typically in expenses. I guess if you include some of the stuff for the business, monthly expenses would be about $5,000, and then I make $45,000 to $50,000. I have to pay taxes on a good amount of that. So assuming I make $50,000 a month, which is about correct, then with 35% taxes on that, I would pay about $17,500 in taxes. I would have about $32,500 left, and then we take about $5,000 out of that. So 5,000 divided by 32.5. I pay about 15% towards these monthly expenses. Then the other 85% is split up various ways. It's all going to investing. It's either going into stocks, crypto, or to the sidelines where I put it in stablecoin just in case we have some kind of dip in crypto or the stock market, or I want to go buy real estate. At this point, I'm saving about 85% of my income. Some months are higher, some are lower, but that is where I am sitting now. Graham, if you're watching this, feel free to break this down, take out all the boring parts because I realize there's not a lot of B-roll. Thank you guys. If you guys want to see more on this, and if you want to see what I am buying in the stock market and crypto and stuff like that, you can check out the link down below to Patreon. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.